if you want to know how I made over 100 grand a year playing poker, we have a booth next door. You can stop by, and we can share those secrets with you. Hint: I'm a computer science engineer, so it involves writing some code. So let's start with 3 questions to get us going. First, a show of hands if you've made a presentation or edited a presentation in the last 3 months in your company. Show of hands. If you've made or edited, okay, almost 90-95% of the audience, okay? Now, show of hands if at the end of that process you said, boy, I really enjoyed that experience. That was so efficient, I loved it, cannot wait to do that again. Show of hands if anyone felt that. Okay, so I can see it from here. No one's raising their hands, right? So the technical term for this is business presentations suck, right? It's no one enjoys the business presentation creation process. It's wildly inefficient because all of us are really busy with our day-to-day jobs, right? Another question, today is National Stutterers Day. Relevant to me because I used to stutter and stammer when I was a child. And people make a lot of fun of me when I started in corporate America. And raise your hand if you know someone at work who's very talented, very hardworking, but because they cannot communicate effectively in a business setting, their careers are being held back and they're not being promoted and their impact is lower. Raise your hand if you know someone who's amazing, but because of business communication, they're being held back, right? So 70-80% of the audience. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Business communication today is wildly inefficient, and business communication today is wildly ineffective because people are busy and people are not trained. And I'll talk about how AI is transforming business communication in pharma CX today. And this is not a pipe dream. People are using these 5 secrets I'll talk about to change how they communicate in a business setting. So I'll show you some demos. You can learn more in our booth as well. So I'm Rajat Mishra. I'm the founder and CEO of Prezent.ai. Prezent is an intelligent enterprise business communication platform. And it's powered by our Astrid AI that makes business communication more efficient and effective. And it's the first AI custom built for business communication for BioPharma clients. So we've heard from several people. Kevin had a pretty amazing presentation from a Genentech perspective on how we are embarking on CX transformations. We'll hear from Nivedita from GSK, Wayne from Pfizer, and Anya from Beijing. Every company is moving on these bold CX transformations. But going on a transformation requires communicating that idea clearly, explaining what you're trying to do, and then persuade your broader team to go on that transformation with you. So we went and asked a number of biopharma executives, what is the number 1 skill in an AI-first future to deliver business results? To deliver business results, what is the number 1 skill in an AI-first future? And what does an AI-first future mean? It means a future where the machines will be doing the math, the machines will be doing the analytics, right? So all the math will be covered by machines. So what do we think? What do you think is the number 1 skill for to achieve business results in an AI-first future?
Being able to prompt with the right context.
Yeah, so prompt with the right context. Someone else had a hand up?
It's like communication.
That's absolutely right? 96% of business leaders, when we polled them, they said business communication is essential to deliver results. I mean, why is that? It makes sense in a large organization. You have to persuade, explain, and inspire so many folks. But business communication, like I said, is hard, right? Most of us don't have the time. We are busy with our real jobs. Either we're talking to HCPs, we're talking to internal teams, or we're doing research, or we are not trained in business communication. It's very hard to standardize and distribute content. And many of you probably use agencies. And with commercial budgets being slashed, all of us are trying to do more with less, and agencies are slow and they are expensive. So what I'll share with you is how AI changes that model. That model is a model of the past. Today I'll share with you how AI changes the game in business communication in biopharma. And I'll share 5 secrets to AI-powered business communication. And like I said, this is not in the future. This is being used now. 30 of the top 50 biopharma companies use Present and our AI Astrid to make business communication more efficient and effective. Many of you are in the room today, so thank you for being customers as well. So let's start with what are those 5 secrets. I'll reveal them, and I'll also share short videos and demos of how that's applicable today. So the first secret is hyper-personalized to the audience of one. What that means is each one of us are very different, right? Every HCP is different. Every internal stakeholder team is different. I mean, we don't even like the same flavor of ice cream, right? But however, we give the same presentation to every HCP, every stakeholder team, right? I hate the word leverage, and I hate images, because I'm a boarding engineer. But there could be someone else who likes a very different style. But we live in a world today where we give the same presentation to every HCP, every internal stakeholder, irrespective of their personal choices. So how do we all move into an AI-powered world where every presentation for every individual is hyper-personalized? So if you have an HCP who likes dense data slides, she gets that. And if she likes a scientific style, she gets more of a scientific style. If you're talking to a VP of commercial or CX within the company who likes vibrant imagery and who likes the objective summary first, not at the end, how does that person get something tailored to that person as well? So how do we hyper-personalize presentations? That's the first secret. And I'll show you a video after I talk about the second secret. The second secret, you don't have to create presentations painfully and spend time on it. Now, you can auto-generate presentations from documents and prompts in seconds. How do we graduate from a world where all of you, like we all raised hands, are spending hours creating presentations either from scratch, the blank sheet problem, or we have these scientific papers we want to convert to presentations, but we are manually going through them and creating presentations, or we have a research report, right? We are spending hours creating presentations of research reports. This is the past. How do we graduate to a future where AI helps us auto-generate personalized presentations tailored to each individual, reading from all this data in seconds? So let me show you a quick video, a video demo of how these first 2 secrets are coming to life in 30 of the top 50 biopharma companies today. So for this demo, I'm going to use a company called Acme Corporation and a person called Jane Doe. And you'll see how AI is hyper-personalizing and auto-generating presentations in seconds. So let's watch the video.
I'm going to start by asking Astrid to create a 5-slide brand plan presentation for Jane Doe in the marketing department at Acme Corporation. I'll specify the brand template, provide some prompts for the slides, and also add a PDF file to read the data from. First, Astrid looks up 60+ identifiers in Jane Doe's fingerprint to see how she likes to be communicated to. We learn that Jane likes visual slides and dislikes the word leverage. Then Astrid looks up Acme Corp brand template that is natively integrated into Present and creates a first draft of the presentation. Now I can change the audience, edit the length of the deck, replace images from brand approved library, and even add additional information.
All right. So this was bringing the first 2 secrets to life. I remember when I was a young VP at Cisco, before I was at Present, I almost got fired because my first presentation to the CFO, I created a presentation that I thought the CEO would like, with big animal pictures and text. And she actually wanted something with lots of tables, lots of data. So luckily, someone on her team told me so I could hyper-personalize it to her. And today, we no longer, if you have a research report, you don't have to painfully slave through it and create a deck. You can use Astrid or an AI like it to create a presentation from scratch. So what is secret number 3? I wish I had this when I was at McKinsey. I spent 5 years at McKinsey, achieving brand compliance at scale. So this solves, you can instantly achieve brand compliance at scale. What does it mean? It's the problem of the dreaded Frankenstein deck. All of us have worked on decks where you have one slide from last year, you have one slide from a consultant, the images, icons don't work, the footers are not aligned. I bet there are many ops people in your team and marketing people in your teams today who are making all these Frankenstein decks brand compliant, or converting decks from one brand to another brand. Or you might have a dark background or a light background. I mean, people are spending hours. I used to spend 4 to 5 hours as a McKinsey analyst just doing this when I was an associate there. So people are using unlicensed images, right? Many companies are getting fined because there are legal copyright issues. Getting images from the dam is a painful process in companies. And your marketing teams have spent so much money and time coming up with a cohesive brand ethos, right? It's very hard to follow that. This is the past. We all can graduate to a future where AI now can automatically check for brand compliance. If any image is not brand compliant, if any icon is not compliant, if the font footer is not right, AI can find that out and then automatically make that deck brand compliant in a few seconds. So let's watch a video of how Astrid can make a deck brand compliant in seconds so you don't have to spend your precious time. You can focus on higher value activities.
I'm going to ask Astrid to transform a Frankenstein deck, a deck with many templates in one, and transform that into the Acme Corp brand template. Astrid analyzes the deck and finds it's 27% brand compliant and requires 40 changes. Then it makes the deck 100% brand compliant, fixing fonts, colors, and even icons and images.
Okay. Fun fact as a computer science engineer, there are 65,000 fields in every PowerPoint slide. And with AI like Astrid, you can scan all those slides in seconds and find out what the changes need to be made. And AI can make those changes for you. So no more slaving, making decks brand compliant or solving Frankenstein deck issues. So what is secret number 4? Secret number 4 is you don't have to struggle with redesigning and rewording presentations yourself. Now presentations can be redesigned and reworded in seconds. So all of us are super busy. And that is the reason why sometimes the presentations we create, the visual communication we create, is poorly designed, it's not compelling, it doesn't grab your attention. We can graduate from this present to a future where AI automatically designs and rewords presentations for us, all in our brand, in our corporate brand identity, all personalized to the audience, and creates a compelling storyline as well. So let's look at a quick video of how Astrid can redesign slides for you instantly.
I'm going to ask Astrid to redesign a basic document for me. I specify the output template, and Astrid gets to work, understanding the text, design, and all the other elements on a slide. Astrid creates a well-structured, brand-aligned presentation for me. Now, on each slide, I can change the layout options, update the images, and even change the audience.
The cool thing about using an AI assistant, it's almost like having a communication assistant with you, one who never goes to sleep, is never tired, and can create infinite iterations for you, right? So it's not about the first draft, but once you build the first draft, you can quickly ask for 100 different layouts. You can change the audience and say, change it from the CEO's deck to the CFO's deck, right? So it creates all those iterations for you and gives you inspiration and gives you ideas so that you can be a more effective and more efficient business communicator. Finally, the final secret I want to share with you, the 5th secret, is now you can synthesize documents into one-page exec summaries in seconds. Winston Churchill said, "I did not have time to write a short memo, so I wrote a long one." Right? It's much easier to write a longer document, talk longer, than to talk precisely in short amount of time. But now, all of us are busy with our real jobs. We've not been trained. AI can help you synthesize documents. Because what we are doing today is we are creating long presentations that are hard to follow. that are not personalized, not on brand. The storytelling is not as effective. But we can move to a future where busy HCPs don't need to get the full deck. They can get that crisp one-page exec summary that today you hire agencies and consultancies to create for you. Now AI can do it. AI can do it for you. Executives are very busy. Think of the next VP, SVP presentation you're doing. They don't want to go through a 20-page deck. No one loves the answer to a question, hey, it's coming on page number 7, or it's coming on slide number 12. No executive likes that. So now AI can create one-page exec summaries for you, just like McKinsey or ZS or some other consultant would do for you. So let's watch how AI agents like Astrid can create one-page exec summaries from documents, from presentations, etc.
I'm going to ask Astrid to synthesize a 7-slide clinical trial deck into a one-page executive summary. I specify what I want in the deck is the Acme corporate brand template. Astrid understands the key information on each slide and creates a one-page exec summary. Astrid also gives me the option to change the audience, template, tone, and even the emotion.
Again, right, it's like having a communication expert or a design expert in your pocket. And once you create an exec summary, you can change the tone, change the emotion, change the layout. You can ask Astrid to create millions of variations for you, and she'll keep doing that and make you more efficient and effective. Right? And like I said, so let's kind of recap the 5 secrets. First is you no longer need to create decks for each individual. You can hyper-personalize presentations and business communication to an audience of one. So every unique individual gets a presentation that really resonates with them. Secret number 2, you don't have to slave creating presentations from documents or from scratch. Now you can auto-generate presentations from prompts, from documents, from Excel files instantly. Secret number 3, make your brand team love you. Now you can achieve brand compliance at scale instantly. No more Frankenstein deck problems. No more changing a deck from one brand template to another. Secret number 4, now you can redesign and reword presentations instantly. So you don't have to spend your time redesigning, rewording, dewording slides. And finally, if you're getting ready for the next executive presentation, now you can synthesize documents, presentations, PDFs into a one-page exec summary that your executives will love. And like I said, this is not the future. This is here today. And you can hear it from some of your BioPharma colleagues that are using AI today to become more efficient and effective with business communication. So let's hear from some innovators who are already at that bleeding edge, who are using AI to get more efficient and effective with business communication.
My name is Gwen Whitney. I am the former SVP of Commercial Operations and Market Access at Global Blood Therapeutics.
Scott Rosania, I'm Senior Director of Patient Support Services at a Fortune 500 biopharmaceutical company.
So my name's Alex Bidding, a leader at Elm Island Pharmaceuticals.
So I would say the time that we were putting in to making slides, to coming up with what does the story say.
So I think one of the key challenges we face is bandwidth.
Before we came on with Present, it was how do I get all this information in a readable format that people can understand.
We ended up creating really great business communications, and I think people started to look at what was coming out of our group and noticed it had a very nice sort of uniformity around it.
It's such an intuitive system, right? So I can go into this slide library, I can find the visual, I pull it down, I pop in the data, and there it is.
Instead of having a few really good slides in your deck, you actually have a better quality overall deck.
Our experience with Present is excellent. I have not hesitated to recommend them to colleagues at other companies.
When Present offered this as an opportunity, the robustness of the tool combined with the affordable price tag made it a no-brainer.
I think you're doing a tremendous job in really changing the way that we do business and making our life easier. So I just appreciate that.
Okay, so So here are some voices about people at the bleeding edge using AI to be more efficient and effective with business communication. With that, we have about 10 minutes. Thank you. I wanted to kind of save some time for questions. I would go back to the story of, I used to stutter, and my 9-year-old daughter, she also stutters and makes her very self-conscious. And my best friend got passed up for a promotion 8 times at Apple because he couldn't answer the question, "Tell me about yourself." So it's time, just like Google Maps democratized directions, and people like me who are directionally challenged now are at par with people who are great at directions. It's time to democratize great business communication, and it's platforms like Prezent and AI like Astrid that can make everyone more efficient and effective with business communication. Thank you.
Thank you, Rajat. Wonderful. So yeah, we've got a little bit of time for questions. Anybody want to chime in and make any comments, questions before we move on to the next one? Yes.
Great presentation, thank you. One of the things we run into as it relates to AI is the hesitancy to jump in because of the proprietary nature of data sets and information. How do you prevent data leakage and protect that data as it relates to using this application?
Yeah, that's a great question. It comes up a lot. Because the conundrum is everyone wants their communication to be personalized to their data, but no one wants their data to kind of go outside their organization and be used by other folks. So the way we've done it, I think, first is we don't use any data from any company to train Astrid. So Astrid is a pre-trained model that has been trained on over 1 million, the metadata 1 million before after slides. But when we work with any large client, and many of our customers are here, we don't use your data to train the model. We just pass it as a parameter, and it stays within your context. So if you're working with company X, that data stays in the company X's instance. So we create an instance for every company. That's one. And second, when we are working with a company, if a user leaves, we delete that data associated with that user, because many people have people in a company and they're leaving. We delete that instance of data. And we have all the certifications like ISO 27001. So we serve some of the largest banks, largest BioPharma companies, to make sure that you feel comfortable that your data is only being used in your instance and not being used anywhere else. It's a great question.
Joyce.
So when you were talking about bullet one, the hyper-personalization, and it went out and it scoured whoever the deck was for to figure out their data points on how to personalize it. So is it going out to what's in Google, LinkedIn? Like, what is it searching on? And again, talk to the kind of security around that and the creepy factor.
Yeah. So the question is, how do you hyper-personalize? How do you get that information about each person? You can also do it for teams. So some people do it for the board of directors, et cetera. So the way we do it is in 3 ways. First is whenever you join the Prezent platform, we ask you to take a communication fingerprint. So you tell us how you like to be communicated to. So it's like a Myers-Briggs or the red, blue, green colors for communication. You tell us how you like to be communicated to, because the best person who knows about how you like to be communicated to is yourself. So you just tell us that data, and that stays in your company instance. So we're not going outside and scraping data about you. The second, and I learned this from my wife because I think I'm a very kind of funny and humorous person. My wife disagrees. She doesn't think this. So sometimes the way you perceive yourself may not be the way other people perceive you. So the second way we build a communication fingerprint is by looking at how other people are communicating to you. So if people are communicating to you with images, long decks, then we learn that, okay, maybe even though you think you don't like images, maybe you like images or maybe you like long decks. So we are learning about your fingerprint from how other people present to you. And the third, sometimes you may not be able to send a fingerprint request to your CEO and ask the CEO, hey, how do you like to be communicated to? Sometimes that's awkward. But we have found that sometimes there is a chief of staff or you know more about the senior executives. So instead of sending a request to them, you can create a fingerprint on behalf of the CEO or the CFO or the board. So those are the 3 ways we do it. So we never go outside the company instance. Making sure that every Fortune 2000 company's instance is secure, their data doesn't go out, is very, very important to us. Yeah. And you can you can take your fingerprint assessment in next door, and it'll tell you, are you a bear or are you a peacock, or we got some fun personas for you which you can take care of.
Thank you. Any additional questions, comments for Rajat? Yes.
Thanks. You mentioned sort of branding compliance.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's MRL and there's overall sort of compliance. Is that a foundation that could also or is also built into the process?
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, I spoke about branding compliance, but of course, compliance is a much broader topic. So when you create your instance of Prezent, we ask you what data you would like the Astrid to use in the instance of your company. So the files, think of it like a project in Claude, right? So if you say that these are the kinds of documents, compliance documents that I want Astrid to use in creating presentations or creating documents, you can do that as well. So you can upload your own instance, your own workspace, and it'll use that and make sure it's compliant, not just from a brand perspective, but broadly. So it's a great question. Yes?
Does it synthesize data? So if you put like a Excel, just numbers in there, does it compile graphs and look at analyzing the data and then putting that into an image?
Yeah, so the question, just I'll repeat it for everyone. The question is, does it synthesize data? What if you give it a chart or Excel file? Can it synthesize it for you? The answer is absolutely yes. So you can give it a PDF. The PDF could have a chart. It'll read the chart. It could have literal numbers in there. You can give it an Excel file. So you can pass any kind of document, and Astrid will read what's in the document and then create multiple visualizations of that for you, which you can choose from.
Last questions before we move on? Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Since this is an AI tool, can you talk a little bit about the content that it does create and any hallucinations or bias that may be within that content?
Yeah. So just like any Gen AI tool, there will be some hallucinations. It won't exactly be right. So the way I like to think about it is Astrid is not replacing you and doing your work. Think of it as an assistant that gets you 80-90% of the way there, right? And as companies use the product more, so we have some companies who've been using Astrid for the last 1.5 years, Astrid gets smarter, and then the degree of hallucinations kind of go down, right? So when you start, it starts at the general level, but Astrid is the first AI that has been personalized for BioPharma. It's personalized for your company based on your brand, your documents, and personalized for you based on your fingerprint. So we always say it's an assistant. Like any other assistant, it could make some mistakes, but it just gets you that 80% of the way there and also helps you with more ideas and inspiration. Right? So.
Okay, let's give Rajat a round of applause.
Thank you.